Very welcome back. Now, with the number of second-hand cars being imported from the UK doubling to 100,000 last year, the Irish Consumer Watchdog has warned of the potential purchase pitfalls of these overseas transactions.
Here to discuss a new cross-border guide to help car buyers understand their rights is consumer expert Siobhan Maguire. Good morning, Siobhan.
Good morning.
Hi, Siobhan.
That's a very high number, 100,000 people.
100,000 purchases, imports.
Wow.
And actually the Marketing Institute of Ireland and UCD Michael Smurfit Business School, the Graduate Business School, they brought out their media monitoring consumer report last month, and that actually predicts that next year imports will exceed around 120,000, which means they will surpass new car purchases.
Wow.
Yeah, so people are going up the north. Now, that's all pending sterling continuing to
the exchange rate
more weakly
of
against
course.
the euro. Yeah.
So are people just doing this privately on a solo run, or are they doing it through garages, or both?
Both at the moment. An awful lot of people are doing it privately in that they're, contacting dealers in the north through their websites or through kind of auto trader related websites and buying that way.
Because I remember from 30 years ago, 20 years ago, that head up the north, get a car, you'll get it cheaper, no matter what the car is. Is that value still there?
Oh,
Clearly
exactly.
it is.
Yeah. So I had a look at some dealers
You've
in
some
the
great
north.
examples,
and
yeah.
a 1.2 Seat Ibiza car, 2014, with around 53,000 mileage on the clock, is selling for £4,995 up there, which as of last Thursday translated or converted to around 5,619 euros.
Okay.
Now that would have gone down even further in the last couple of days with the no Brexit deal. So
how does that compare to the similar car down
well,
south?
actually, down here, the same car, similar mileage, is around €8,995. So it's a saving of over 3,000. It's a big, big difference for the same car. Now, we have to take that into context. The UK sales market is, the car stockpile, for example, is massive. 2.5 million were sold last year compared to 131,000 here. So there is greater choice there. There are more second-hand vehicles to choose from.
And also, Siobhan, we have to bear in mind then the likes of VRT. So even though there's a €3,000 difference in the price, you lose some of that with VRT import duties.
So on a car like that one, Siobhan, how much would you be paying in VRT?
It varies on the spec. You'd be looking at in or around about €1,000, I would imagine.
Okay, right.
Yeah. And again,
you're still saving €2,000.
Well, yeah, and that's the process of having to get your plates changed and everything as well, But that brings us nicely on to the fact that European Consumer Centre Ireland, in conjunction with the Consumer Council in Northern Ireland and the Northern Ireland Trading Standards, they have brought out a new car buying guide for people specifically looking to import second-hand cars down here from the north or in the UK. And they did that because in 2017, the ECC's biggest level of consumer complaints in relation to UK traders concerned car purchases.
Really?
The car purchase itself was, kind of laden with ambiguity. Logbooks were missing, proper registration.
What are the typical pitfalls, Siobhan? Is that the logbooks, etc.?
Logbooks and also buying car parts that fall in conformity. That you think you're buying something, you import that car part, and it's not even for the same make and model. So there are various things. The first thing is buying, who are you buying from? Are you... interestingly, the Trading Standards Association, they found that people were buying cars at roundabouts. People were going up to the north and buying a car in a car park. They were handing over massive amounts of cash for something without even seeing the car. I mean, that all might seem like a no-brainer. I guess if something sounds too good to be true, it actually is.
Yeah.
And then your second point on that checklist is do your homework on the car in terms of the car's history.
Yeah, because there's a number of great websites where you can check the full car history, can't you? Just in terms of its mileage to make sure it's not clocked.
Yeah. Yeah, or has never been written off. And
or in an accident.
Exactly, and these websites have a kind of traffic light rating. So the green is go, absolutely buy it. The amber is it has had issues, here are the issues, and the red is do not buy this car. So it couldn't be more simple.
So do your research.
Absolutely.
Get everything in writing as well.
I think so.
So important if you're dealing
really
with someone over the phone, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and also, so it's as simple as saying, having a conversation with a dealer, preferably a dealer. A private seller, it kind of limits your consumer rights significantly. You don't have as many statutory rights as you would by buying through a dealer.
Siobhan, another stupid question that I'm famous for at this stage. When you buy the car in the UK, in the north, for example, in terms of if something goes wrong, are you covered by the consumer laws in the country that you bought the product in or the country that you live in?
So,
or are they the same?
At the moment, they are the same until
Brexit.
Yeah, which is yes, exactly.
What happens next year?
So, so at the moment, if you buy a car in the UK, you're governed by the very same rules that apply to buying in Ireland. So consumer rights governed by the European Union, essentially. So that means that you have, when you buy a car, you have 30 days to report any breach of contract. You have, I think it's something like 6 months to repair or upkeep of something goes wrong with the car. And then you have 6 years of a window to make any kind of complaint. And that applies to any goods or service purchased within the EU. Afterwards, we just don't know, Simon. We have no idea what's going to happen. The only thing that's probably guaranteed is that sterling will weaken further.
Yes.
So it will be even cheaper.
So the exchange rate will still be preferable, if not more so.
Exactly.
Which means more people will be buying cars.
We put a question to our viewers, Siobhan, asking them did they have queries for you, and of course there's tons of queries have come in. We've picked one out that we feel is probably, there's a similar kind of theme across all of the queries, so I'll read it out to you. My mum bought me a hall table as a housewarming gift, which was delivered to me approximately 3 months ago. I usually have flowers on the grey part of the table. I recently noticed that there was a white mark on the grey part. Some drops of water had got on it. The grey covering began to peel away.
Oh, good luck.
I've contacted the shop where my mum bought it. When I went to the shop where it was purchased, they informed me it was a veneer covering. The only thing they could do was send someone out to fix it. So she gives the manager's response. Unfortunately, our warranties do not cover accidental damage on products. We do appreciate your custom, but really can't replace items that have accidental damage. She's also saying that she wasn't told about the water. So do I have any rights in relation to this type of damage at the moment? At the time of purchasing, my mum was not informed the veneer can be damaged from water.
I think, unfortunately, in this instance, there's not a whole lot this person can do. I would, if I were the purchaser, I would certainly take up the offer of having the table taken and checked and repaired potentially by the supplier, because a warranty exists, and that warranty states, listen, any kind of water damage is accidental damage, and that's of your own doing.
They've covered themselves.
They have covered themselves. Same goes if
so
you
even though they didn't tell her, if it's written on
covered,
the paperwork, I suppose they're covered, aren't they?
Yes, and I think there's a little element of common sense in all of this as well, that if you're buying a piece of furniture and it looks like, it might be a little bit precarious in terms of putting, water on
liquids,
then it's on your back.
And would you say generally, if people have items that they've bought and have kind of, the quality has disintegrated faster than they would have imagined, is a fix the fairest solution in most of those cases?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and just on the warranty side of things, I mean, even if you buy a smartphone, your warranty is going to say that, water damage, you're not covered. I mean, it's just something that goes, it's par for the course with these kind of goods. Yeah, but absolutely, I mean, if you're reporting a faulty item, most of the time, like in this instance, the supplier will be good about it and say, look, can we repair it for you?
OK, thank you, Siobhan. If you have any